going to learn about the special function registers of 8051 microcontroller. In previous class, we have seen the general purpose registers of 8051 microcontroller in detail. So today we'll be learning about special function registers. So the special function registers of 8051, totally they are of 6 types that you can observe here. The first one is PSWR. First one is PSWR, which stands for Program Status Word Register, which stands for Program Status Word Register, and it is of 8-bit register. I'll just brief you here and then one by one I'll explain you in detail. PSWR stands for Program Status Word Register, and which is of 8-bit register. And next, DPTR. DPTR stands for Data Pointer Register. DPTR stands for Data Pointer Register, and here it is a 16-bit register. DPTR is a 16-bit register. So in general purpose registers also we have one register as a 16-bit register, that is nothing but the program counter. So in a similar way, under the special function registers of 8051 microcontroller, DPTR, that is nothing but data pointer register, is also 16-bit register. And next we have timer registers. Of course it is of 8-bit only. And next P0 to P3 registers, they are also of 8-bit registers. And next control and capture registers, they are also of 8-bit. So except DPTR, that is nothing but data pointer register, remaining all are of 8-bit registers. And DPTR is a special function register which is of 16-bit register. And now we'll see in detail one by one. And first one is nothing but the PSWR, that is nothing but Programmable Status Word Register. As I told you, it is of 8-bit register, and this is how that 8-bit register looks like. See here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So D0 to D7 bits it has, that is nothing but 8-bit register. And another thing is that here if you want to make use of PSWR, it is not mandatory that all these bits needs to be filled up. You can make use of single bit also. So what does it mean is that PSWR is bit and byte addressable. PSWR is bit and byte addressable. Bit and byte addressable means if you want to make use of only single bit for one specific purpose, PSWR is a special function register. That means they'll be used only for the specific applications. So here it's not mandatory that entire bits or all the bits of PSWR needs to be set or reset if you are using PSWR. That is not the case. You can use only single bit based on your application, and if an application requires all the bits, then you can make use of all the bits also. So single bit means it is said to be a bit addressable, and if it can also be used for all the bits, then it is said to be byte addressable. That is the meaning of bit and byte addressable. And if you look into this, coming to its representation, generally when we are talking about binary data, or when we are talking about registers and the data in the registers, we'll be naming them like D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7. But here, instead of representing with the D, here we'll be representing with the register name itself. That is nothing but here it is a PSWR. Of course, R means register. So here how these bits are being represented: PSW.0, PSW.0, PSW.1, PSW.2, PSW.3, PSW.4, like that, PSW.7. So here the bits representation will be represented with the register name PSW.0 to PSW.7, and of course the D0 bit, that is nothing but PSW.0 is said to be LSB bit, and PSW.7 is said to be MSB bit. And within this register I have written some alphabets like C, A, C, F naught and everything. Let us see what they are all meant for. See here, ma, if P, here P is nothing but the parity flag. Here P represents the parity flag. So when the parity flag is going to set in PSWR, so if the result of your program, is having odd number of ones, if result of your program is containing odd number of ones. Say for example, your result is 4 ones and 4 zeros, 4 ones and 4 zeros. How many number of ones it contains? It is containing 4 numbers. That means it is representing even parity. So parity bit, this P will be set for odd parity number and P will be 0 for even parity number. So P value will be 1 if your result contains odd number of ones, and P value is going to be 0 if your result contains even number of ones. That is nothing but this is the parity flag. And of course PSW.1 at the time of designing this, it is not in use. And next it is nothing but OV. Here OV represents overflow flag. OV represents overflow flag. We have discussed this overflow flag in 8086 flag registers also. Here I'll explain you once again. So when is it going to set? Seema, it is of 8051 is of 8-bit microcontroller. That means at a time it can perform the operations on 8-bit. That means when it is an 8-bit, then there will be a what we call a range of numbers within which only 8051 can operate. So for 8-bit microcontroller, the range of numbers will be, see here you can see it will be minus 128 to 127, or it can be minus 127 to 127. So whatever the number that you would like to work up with, that particular number should be within this particular range only. Here I have written one example. Say for example, you are trying to add minus 68 and minus 70. If you are trying to add minus 68 and minus 70, what is the sum result? It is going to be minus 138. The sum result is minus 138. And now you just check whether minus 138 is in between these two ranges or not. Here it is minus 128 to 127. It is out of this particular range. And here also minus 127 to plus 127. So here also it is out of the range. So here minus 138 is not falling within these two ranges. So in those scenarios, overflow flag is going to set. That means if you are trying to operate your microcontroller beyond its limit, beyond its operating limit, in those scenarios, overflow flag is going to be set. And next is nothing but RS0 and RS1. In last class, while we are discussing about the general purpose registers, there we have registers R0 to R7. And I told you that R0 to R7 registers, they are available in 4 banks like B0, Bank 0, Bank 1, Bank 2 and Bank 3. So at a time we can access only one bank. And I told you that which bank we are accessing, that particular information will be given by PSWR. So here RS1 and RS0, these two bits will give you an information of which bank registers you are making use of. Which bank? We have 4 banks, wherein which each bank we have R0 to R7 registers. So the registers of which bank we are using, that information can be known by knowing the value of these two. You just try to follow this particular timetable. See, if it is a 0-0 combination, if RS1 and RS0, both the values are 0-0, that indicates that you are making use of the registers R0 to R7 from bank 0. You are using the registers from bank 0 if both RS1 and RS0 are of 0 values. So what is the starting and ending address of the bank 0? The starting and ending address of bank 0 is 00 to 07. As there are 7 registers, 0 to 7, the address is also starting from 0 to 7. Here H represents the hexadecimal number system. And a similar way, if RS1 is equals to 0 and if RS0 is equals to 1, if 01 is the value in RS1 and RS0, then that represents that you are using the registers from bank 1. What is the address of the bank 1? Address of the bank 1 is from 8 to F. Address of the bank 1 is from 8 to F. In a similar way, 10 represents bank 2 and the address of bank 2 is 10 to 17H. And similarly, this is how the data of RS0 and RS1 can help you in knowing the bank of registers. And the next is nothing but F0. Here F0 is the bit which is freely available for the end user. So the user who is writing the program for 8051 can make use of this particular flag, and this flag will automatically set and reset based on the program that we are writing. And next is that AC. Here AC stands for auxiliary carry flag. Auxiliary carry flag. So for this you can see this particular example. If carry is transferring from lower byte to higher byte, if carry is transferring from lower byte to higher byte, then in those scenarios auxiliary carry flag is going to set. I'll repeat it once again. If carry is being transferred from lower byte of data to higher byte of data, then auxiliary carry flag is going to set. See here. Here I just have considered a simple example. Here 0, 1, sum will be 1. 0, 1, 1. 0, 1 is going to give a sum of 1. But here if you observe the D3 bits, here we have 1, 1. When you are trying to add 1 and 1, the sum is going to be 0 and a carry of 1 is going to be generated. And that carry it is transferring from D3 to D4. The carry is transferring from D3 to D4. That means from lower byte. Here lower byte will be D0 to D3. If carry is transferring from lower byte to higher byte, as here from D3 to D4 the carry is transferring. So in these scenarios auxiliary carry flag is going to set. And next the last one is nothing but C. Here C represents the carry flag. C is nothing but carry flag. So carry flag will set if your result MSB bit is 1. If your result MSB bit is 1. Here I have considered a simple 4-bit example. See here. Here 0, 1 summation is going to be 1. Here also 1 and here also 1. And here 1 plus 1. Here you are trying to add 1 plus 1. In those scenarios the sum result is going to be 0 and it is going to produce a carry. So if your result is producing a carry at MSB bit, if your result is producing carry at MSB bit, in those scenarios carry flag is going to be generated. There is difference between carry flag and auxiliary carry flag. Carry flag will look at the MSB bit. Let it be of 16-bit data or 32-bit data or 8-bit data or 4-bit data. Carry flag will set only when there is a carry at MSB bit. But auxiliary carry flag will set when there is a transfer of carry from lower byte of data to higher byte of data. So this is what all about the PSWR, that is nothing but programmable status word register. It can be a bit addressable or byte addressable. So moving on to the next type of register, that is nothing but DPTR. DPTR stands for data pointer register. DPTR is data pointer register. As I told you in the introduction, DPTR is a 16-bit register. DPTR is a 16-bit register. So here as 8051 can access 8 bits of data at a time, but DPTR is of 16-bit. DPTR is being divided into two types, just like AX. If you recall the concept of general purpose registers in 8051, we have AX, BX, CX, DX, and where AX can be subdivided into AH and AL, where H represents the higher byte of data, L represents the lower byte of data. In a similar way, DPTR is also being divided into two sub-registers, which are represented with DPH and DPL, where data pointer higher byte of data, data pointer lower byte of data. And for what purpose this DPTR is used? PSWR will be giving us the information related to the status of the result, what kind of flags are going to be set based on the result, and what is the bank that the end user is using. All those data is being given by the programmable status word register, PSWR. Then what about DPTR? What information does the DPTR gives? DPTR is used for accessing external data and program memory. It is used for accessing external data memory as well as program memory. I told you that 8051 microcontroller will be coming up with some internal data memory and internal program memory, and it also provides a provision that if that internal data memory or the program memory is not sufficient for the end user can add memory from the external environment. That means it can support only up to 4 kilobytes of ROM and 128 bytes of RAM. That is what 8051 is coming up with. If you want to extend that memory capacity, end user can do it by connecting it externally. So this particular DPTR register is used whenever you want to access the external environment memory. That external environment memory can be data memory or program memory. That is nothing but it can be RAM or ROM. So while you are performing the access with external memories, in those scenarios you will be making use of DPTR register. And here one important point that we need to note down is that while we are writing the program, we can write increment DPTR. We can write increment DPTR, but we can't write decrement DPTR, because decrementing DPTR, that particular instruction, it is not being supported by the 8051 microcontroller. Decrementing DPTR, it is not supported by the 8051 microcontroller. Only incrementing the DPTR, that is being supported by the 8051 microcontroller. And another thing is that just like 8086, 8051 is also having addressing modes, and in those addressing modes, immediate addressing mode is also there. DPTR will not support immediate addressing mode. DPTR register will not support immediate addressing mode. Two important things about the DPTR. Decrementing DPTR is not possible as it is not being supported by the 8051 microcontroller, and DPTR cannot support immediate addressing mode. It will not support immediate addressing mode. And next is DPTR is not bit addressable. DPTR is not bit addressable. That means if you want to make use of DPTR, all the 8 bits needs to be set or reset based on the application. You can't make use of single bit. Out of it, you can't make use of single bit. All the bits needs to be set or reset based on the application. So DPTR is byte addressable. It is not bit addressable, whereas PSWR is a both bit and byte addressable, but DPTR is a byte addressable register. That's about the data pointer register. And next, moving on to the next special function register, timer or counter. So 8051 will be having two timers or counters. They are named as timer or counter 0 and timer or counter 1. And here these timers, regarding these timers and counters, in the next part of this particular unit we'll be talking in detail. And here one thing that you need to remember is that timer and counter is also of 8-bit registers only, and here the timer or the counter will be operating in so many modes. It will be operating in so many modes. So in which mode the timer is operating, that particular information can be known by a register called as TMOD register. TMOD register stands for timer mode register. TMOD stands for timer mode register. For what purpose it is used? TMOD register will gives an information of in which mode we are using timer register. In which mode we are using timer register. That information will be provided by TMOD register, and TMOD register is byte addressable. TMOD register is byte addressable. That means you need to fill up all the bits of TMOD register. Even if you are leaving single bit, then that cannot be operated properly. And next register that needs to be used is TCON register, where TCON stands for timer control register. TCON stands for timer control register. The why TCON is required, that I'll explain in the next classes. So now you just remember that TMOD register is used for deciding the mode in which timers are being used, and TMOD is a byte addressable and TCON is both bit and byte addressable. And next is P0 to P3. Next registers are P0 to P3. Here, as I told you that 8051 has inbuilt IO ports. 8051 has inbuilt IO ports, and 8051 is having 4 such kind of IO ports. It has 4 IO ports. So these P0 to P3 registers, they are meant for IO ports. Whenever the external devices are accessing the microcontroller through these input and output ports, and if you want to write a program for those external devices, in that particular program, these P0 to P3 registers. P0 to P3 means P0, P1, P2, P3. So these 4 registers can be used in a program whenever the end user is writing a program when an external device is being accessed to the 8051 microcontroller. And P0 to P3 registers are also bit and byte addressable. These registers are purely meant for IO ports. These registers are purely meant for IO ports. And the next is that control registers. Next is that control registers. So here there are, I listed nearly about 6 control registers which are purely related to the timers and interrupts, which are purely related to the timers and interrupts of the 8051 microcontroller. About all these 6 control registers we will discuss one by one in detail in the next upcoming classes. As of now, you just remember that there are 6 control registers. There are 6 control registers. I'll just read out them. TCON stands for timer control register. TMOD, just now I discussed timer mode control, where IE stands for interrupt enable control. IP stands for interrupt priority control. Just keep an eye on this particular IP, because IP stands for interrupt priority control, and it is having very important role while we are accessing the 8051 microcontroller. And next is SCON. SCON is nothing but serial port mode control. Serial port mode control. Here we have 2 registers which will be deciding the mode of operation. One is the TMOD and another one is the SCON. SCON will be dealing with serial port mode control, and PCON is nothing but the power control. You no need to worry about by looking at these lengthy words. We will see about each and every control register here in detail in the next classes. And next, moving on to the next register, that is nothing but the capture register. Capture register, even though the capture register is available in 8051, it is not being used by the 8051. Capture register, it is not being used by the 8051. And the important note that we need to remember regarding this special function registers is that, see this, A is nothing but accumulator. B, which can act as both general purpose register and special function register. A, B, P0 to P3. Here it is not PB ma, here it is P3. So A comma B comma P0 to P3, and some special function registers, I mean control registers and PSW. These few